the collaboration that we're going to have going forward.
No better way to communicate to your audience.
How do we grow strategically now that we've gotten the right path forward? Hey guys, hope you're having an awesome day. We are here with another show from Todd Schroth with Matt Leicht. Excited to have you guys here. Remember to like, subscribe, follow us on YouTube, podcast, Facebook, Instagram, all those good places. There's too many to name because there's too many channels out there. But Matt, I'm excited to have you here today.
Yeah, man.
With Real Brokerage, and your journey into real estate. I just want to kind of have you on the show today to kind of talk about, your big thing right now is YouTube.
Yeah.
And, how you're doing it, what you're doing to win there. But I want to kind of jump back a little bit because you're like me, you're second generation real estate. I never thought I'd get into this business following my parents' footsteps and, but pretty much born into it because my mom was selling real estate before I was born. And I'm really old now. So let's talk about, why'd you get in the business?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. Well, first I got to, thank you for having me on. I've known you for several years now, and I feel like I'm talking to a legend right now.
I'm going to be ditto to you because
it's kind of like surreal for me right now to be on your show with you. Not going to lie. But yeah, so I got involved in real estate I've been in it for about 6.5 years. My parents were in it growing up, not before I was born, not that long like you. And then I graduated from UCF right there in Orlando where you are.
Okay.
And I was working in the athletic department at UCF. And at that time, my wife and I, we'd gotten married, and she was a school teacher in Orlando, and it was kind of what's next for us. And I thought I wanted to be in the athletic field. And I just looked at, the crazy work hours that, some of the athletic directors had. And I said, I feel like you're never going to be home for your kids or for your family. And that just wasn't something that I wanted to go down. And, my mom was a top agent in Sarasota for many years. And so she had called and said, why don't you get your license and why don't you come back and I'll teach you how to sell real estate. And so that was kind of, the onboarding platform, which obviously going into real estate is 100% commission. There's nothing guaranteed. But I had probably one of the best mentors in my mom who had done it, seen a ton of things. And it was basically, hey, I'm not going to give you anything. I'm going to teach you how to do it, but you're going to sit on the open houses. You're going to make those cold calls. You're going to follow up. If you have questions in a contract, yes, I'm going to help you out. But having that kind of mentorship was totally, invaluable. You can't put a price tag on it.
That's pretty cool. It's like, she didn't, a lot of agents or even family think I'm going to go work with my parents. I'm going to have my leads handed to me on a silver platter, or not leads, because normally when a family business, you're working a lot of sphere and referral. Especially we've been in this business. I've been in it 22 years. So a lot of my business is repeat and referral business right now. We still try to get new clients, but agents walk in and think, well, I'll just go work for so-and-so because I'll work their book of business. Well, I still have to work my book of business. You need to work the new business. I'm just not here to hey, I'm cushy rich and I'm going to retire and have someone handle my stuff. No, we still have to work. You need to go cultivate and create new opportunities.
Yeah.
So how was it working for your mom?
I mean, it was good. It was pretty much more that kind of mentorship type role, where it was if she had a lead that she couldn't work, she would pass it off to me, and then I could kind of essentially work it from there. She wasn't really involved at that point in time. Nice. But it was, she had some listings, so I could sit on open houses. And through being in the sales department at UCF, I understood the value of follow-up. And you had to have a system in some CRM to figure that out and come up with what are those steps to re-engage. Those now warm type of leads. So I was able to kind of figure out that, but I'd say a lot of my bread and butter in the beginning came from kind of your sphere, your network, your own personal network, some leads that my mom had passed me, and then open houses. I sat on open houses, pretty often, any chance I could get. And then would just, at the end of that day, I'd get home, I would call them. Hey, we just met a couple hours ago. And then if they didn't answer the next day, I would call them. And then I would just try to figure out a way to move them down the funnel.
It's funny. You actually called them more than once?
Yeah. Believe it or not.
Really? I thought you just one and done. And if they
you got to eat, right?
I'm going to have to take a pause on the show for a second and be like, wow, more than one phone call.
More than one phone call. Believe it or not. Yeah.
It's like I remember Chris Smith would always be like, call twice. If they don't answer the first
back
time,
to back, right?
call
Yeah.
them again because it looks like an emergency, and
Yep.
then shoot them a text, and then an email, and then shoot them a video, and then
Yep.
stalk them on Facebook and get them on Messenger.
Right. And I use BombBomb. I've used it after open houses. I would shoot it right there. They'd leave the open house.
Yep.
And I would say, hey Todd, thanks for coming in today. We met here, blah, blah, blah. And then, I would send that over to them in a BombBomb, and it just made you a little bit different than if they went to a bunch of other open houses. Now this is well before COVID, we're talking 2017,
right.
2018 here, but yeah.
And I loved doing that when I was doing open houses because I would stand in the doorway or in the front of the house, whatever. And also depends on the traffic that's coming through. But if you can knock one out real quick, because they don't need a 5-minute video. It's, hey, Matt, this is Todd. Thanks for coming to the open house, like you said. And look forward to talking to you soon. If there's any questions, about the property, would love to answer those.
Yeah, they're not going to watch a 5-minute video.
No. And they just want that 30 seconds and get it off to them. And that way it's like, wow, he actually followed up really quick. It's pretty cool. So diving in, what was like when you were trying to go after your own business, what were you doing?
Yeah, I mean, I think every agent who gets into the business, and even seasoned agents, it's sustainability. How do you create a business that's sustainable? And I think that's, okay, great. You did 20 transactions or 10 transactions or 50 transactions this year. That doesn't mean anything for next year. Right. You've got to recreate the wheel. You got to recreate all of that. So I think finding a way to create something sustainable is what we're all searching for. And I tried many things that failed and crashed and burned. I tried things where, using like the auto dialer systems and calling expired listings and for sale by owners and, coming up with scripts and follow-ups for all of that. And I would try to see those things through. Spent a year in doing, the mailing and target farming specific areas, tried a lot of different things to figure out what's a sustainable business. And my parents, and I think it comes with when you've been in it for a few years, your name is out there. So that does help sustainability. And obviously, buyers who you bought 6 years later, now they want to sell and then buy again. So you get that repeat business. But in the beginning, you don't have that. Yeah. You got nothing. You have no reputation. You have nothing. And so for me, I was always kind of searching, for that. And I was, with Curator for a while with Chris Smith, Jimmy Mackin, and learned a ton of things in terms of like sales funnels and how to move people from, way up here who don't really know your brand to then kind of do. And now you're actually talking to them, showing them property. And I was always really interested in the video aspect of it. It's always been very intriguing to me. I just didn't know anything about it and what to do. And that's where COVID made me have to shift. Okay. Because I saw, my website traffic, I use a website, very well developed, a couple hundred pages, at mattlight.com. And I saw that just tank overnight. And I was like, okay, so what do we do? How do we pivot in this? I can't just do nothing. I've got to adjust. And at that time, literally the week before, my son was born. And so it was kind of like nice having time off where no one's flying in town. Nobody's listing everything. The sky is falling. Right. And that's where I kind of started to dive into video. It's like, video is going to be here to stay. I just need to learn how to do it. I don't understand cameras. I don't know drones. I don't know editing. I don't know anything. But what I can do is it's just like anything in life. If you want to take the time to learn it, you can do it. No one's there to stop you. If I want to wake up at 5 a.m. because I got to, because my son's awake, I can sit there and spend another hour watching, videos on how to make videos and reading blogs. And that's exactly what I did.
Okay. So that was going to lead me to my next question. Like why video? And, how, and you're doing your own edits, or do you have somebody doing that for you now?
I have somebody now. I went through about 4 editors. So in the beginning, I did everything myself. I wasn't making any money. So I wasn't going to go drop $10,000 on a camera rig, $300 on a video editor, per video, or, $100 or whatever it is. And I was like, I get it. If it's making money, like you're going to reinvest in your business. But at that time, who knows? Right. And so I already had a camera that, a basic camera that my wife and I use for, pictures and stuff like that. And so I got a gimbal that fit on, got a wireless microphone. And, my bread and butter has been a lot of new construction. And I've always loved new construction. So I was trying to figure out what's the niche that I want to work with. And I was working with this guy. He was from Massachusetts, looking for a second home here in Sarasota. And, it was just great conversation with him and his wife. And I thought to myself, those are the people I want to attract. That's who I want to work with. I don't I don't love the first time home buyers and explaining to them the process or things like that. If they really can't afford it, now I feel like I'm enabling them to make a terrible decision. I don't love the super luxury $10-15 million properties. Haven't had great experiences with some of that clientele. And so, this guy just looking for a second home, well qualified, getting a small mortgage. So not explaining the mortgage process to them. And so when I would sit there to write a video script or make a video, I would ask myself, does this bring this guy value? And if the answer was no, I just wouldn't make it. Right. And so when I started video about 20 months ago now, last year is when I really kind of dove into it. And I brought in over 360 leads. Basically, all of them were just like this guy. I converted 1 of 13 to a contract. I did not have any, assistants on my team, didn't have any other agents. It was me shooting. It was me editing. It was me selling and kind of running the whole show myself.
So that's interesting. You out of 360 leads, you were selling 1 out of 13. Mm-hmm. And so how are you getting your leads before you got into the video? Was it all strictly website traffic that you were obviously recreating content for, or?
It was, a lot of it was sphere of influence or like open house stuff. That was pretty much what I would do anytime I could sit on an open house. So that was the vast majority. And I was only doing, 16 to 20 transactions a year, which is great, can provide for my family, things like that. But then, last year did 44 transactions. So more than doubled my business pretty much overnight.
And so you created your first video, and how long did it take you to start seeing traction from that?
Yeah. So that's the thing, like any marketing technique, and this better than anybody, you've got to put the time in to see it through, the time and the money, and you don't see it quickly. So it's not like, let me go make these 5 videos, and if I don't get a lead from it, I'm done. It doesn't work like that. Probably took about 4 to 6 months of me making a video every week. Okay. And then I started, you get the first person that reaches out, and you're like, okay, all right, I'm seeing a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel. And last year I made it a point to personally call every single lead that came through. So they'd come in, I'd send them an email back saying, hey, I will give you a call sometime this week. On this number, that they gave me. And then I would call them, and it was so funny to get the responses because some people would go, I can't believe you're actually calling me. Like, what do you mean? They go, well, no realtor will actually call you back right now. They just don't call back. Or they would see me and the videos that I would make, which I would try to go a lot more on the quality side of it. And they would think like I was this mini celebrity and say, I can't believe I'm calling you and not like an assistant. I actually am talking to you. And it was it was hilarious. But that's what I did kind of last year. This year, I haven't been calling those leads. I've been just working the leads that have been coming in, just really personal emails coming to me. And it's more than enough business. And that's why I'm kind of moving and pivoting. My wife's pregnant, due any day now. After my son's born, then we'll kind of look and pivot into maybe looking to bring on a buyer's agent, because there's a lot of leads that keep flowing in that, I know they're slipping through the cracks, but you can only focus on so much.
So you're 20 months into video. So you've hit a video every week for the last 20 months.
Almost. There's some weeks where I think there's a month where I was like, I don't know what it was.
We don't have time. I mean, it's because it's a lot to do.
And there's a lot that goes into it, especially when you were doing the editing yourself. It's not like you see these videos and people take for granted. I've got, one of my friends at my brokerage, he created this 2.5 minute video. And it was very well done. And I was like, dude, everybody watches this is not going to respect and appreciate the amount of time it took. He's like, it took about 6 hours to edit this. I'm like,
we were just recording some stuff earlier, and it's through the KCM app. And if you subscribe to KCM blog, they have an app now where you can it's all scripted. It's all set for you to record. And it puts a slide in there, and then you hit done. It's 1 minute and 21 seconds. And it's it took me, I think, 10 minutes or 15 minutes and 20 takes to get this done right. And so it's only a minute video. It's going to be easy. You just pop your phone up and read, and it's like, that didn't work right.
Yeah. And the other thing why people don't do video is it's hard. It's uncomfortable. It's weird talking in front of a camera when there's nobody there, and you lose a lot of emotion on video. So you have to be overly expressive, and you feel really weird. And if you're out in the community shooting and there's people around, like when I've been through some model homes and there's people around, or I've done a big beach series here in Sarasota, there's a lot of people around, you feel a little awkward. I'm not going to lie. Feel a little awkward.
The one we just we did another one after that for another lead thing, and our assistant's daughter's in the office today, and she's I think 6, and she comes tiptoeing over to the other side of the office and is standing there watching me, and I'm just watching her on the corner of my eye. And that funny is that one was one take. The other one where I had nobody watching me except my marketer who actually who was like, all right, we need to flip the camera this way. I think you're not doing it right this way. I was like, and sometimes she knows to walk away when I keep looking at her for approval. And when she's gone, it's like, okay, cool. I got it done real quick. So
right. And I think in the beginning, like when you're going through a script, so all of my talking head videos in, in the office, like you can even see like that's my teleprompter back there. So everything I do in here is scripted. I write out all of the words and then kind of can go off script a little bit. My wife helps with a lot of the script writing and editing. So that's just kind of the man behind the curtain with a lot of that. And then I know that I'm saying what I want to say. I'm not like, oh, oops, didn't mean to say that.
Right.
Can't take it back now. Like on the show right now, it's live. So can't take it back.
Exactly. Yeah. There's no edits here. So let's just talk as a new agent coming into the market right now. And I want to get into video. I'm not going to ask you what kind of equipment to buy or script stuff to buy. That's, that you just get a camera and get started is really what it comes down to. Yeah. And then you start doing it and you start making some money. You start buying nicer equipment, like, why you have, your video room with the teleprompter set up and everything. You walk into the rooms are ready to go. But it takes time to get there. I mean, I've got the fancy mic, the fancy cameras doing this and the lighting, but originally it was just me and my computer camera that was already built in. Now it's like you start doing all this additional stuff. Right. But what, I'm trying to think, like, what should somebody as a new agent go out and start shooting? Do they go out and shoot new construction? Do they go out and shoot the just the first time buyer stuff or something else? Yeah,
great question. I just had this conversation with a new agent here in Sarasota that had recently joined my brokerage. And I sat down with him, and he's never sold real estate before. So there's no history of this is what I like to do. So it was more or less like a conversation around what are the areas that you're interested in? What do you like? Right. Because you're not going to be the expert of the townhome and the mega mansion. You're just not. Yeah. And if you think you are, you're not going to service anybody very well. And so I would advise any new agent, figure out the things that you like and you're passionate about, because that's going to overflow onto camera, and you're not faking it. You're just being exactly who you are. And people are going to resonate with that when they watch you. I can't tell you how many times I've had people call me and they go, yeah, I just feel like you're a real person on camera and video. And the thing that's beauty about video is after they've seen so many of your videos, they feel like they know you, even though you've never had a conversation, and you build that trust. And then when I have a conversation with them, I talk the exact same way that I do on a video. So I'm not trying to fake to be a person that I'm not. And so I struggled with kind of my video story. Can I kind of share what made me like really jump in, Todd? Yeah. Okay. So basically when COVID hit, I jumped into a Facebook group, YouTube for agents, with Karen Carr, read her book, and it was just kind of like how to start with video. And so I started going on YouTube and looking at other realtors to see what are the things that they're making. And some of them I was like, this looks like crap. Like, I don't even want to watch this. Why would anybody else? And then I came across this guy named Brad McCallum. Now he's up in Canada and he does listing videos. So he doesn't do like the office talking head. And he's on the luxury market. So he's doing like these $5-10 million beautiful houses that you're like, man, like never seen inside something like that. Right. But the way he would present the content in his videos was so different. Like one of them, he had a raft in the backyard, but he had a paddle. And it was just very unique and very creative. But what really caught my attention was the quality of it, because it was so engaging. I felt like he had hired a whole production crew for these videos, and he wasn't. Right. And I knew he was editing a lot of them himself. And that's what made me think, if you can do it, I can do it. The difference between you and I is you have the education around it and I don't. Not yet, but I'm going to get it. And so I remember reaching out to him. He was with Remax at the time. And he just helped me. Hey, here's some of the gear that I use. Here's some of color profiles. Like I use a Sony camera, and just kind of, there wasn't even a collaboration. It was really me just sucking the life and the wisdom out of him. But we had maintained that relationship, through 2020 into, 2021. And that's where I was like, I want to be different and make a little bit more of those quality videos rather than let me just whip out 5 videos really quick. They're really boring. They're not engaging. Great. If I wouldn't watch it, I can't expect somebody else to watch it either. And if it's not adding value to that client that I want to attract, then what am I doing? I'm not going to see results. I'm just pushing stuff out there and it's not going to be coming back at me. And so that's what made me really dive a lot into the quality of it. And okay, great. Let me get a couple $100 drone. They're super easy to fly. Right. I don't know why every agent doesn't have a drone at all, period.
It's, I think mine, it's funny. I just found one. I was on my roof a couple weeks ago, cleaning the gutters out and found one up there. But I was looking at the roof for like 3 weeks. I'm like, what is that up there? We live on a golf course. We usually have golf balls that'll land on there. And I finally went up and got it. It was a drone and I put it on our community page. Yeah. And somebody went and found a post from January about a missing drone. So I found someone's Christmas present on my roof.
That's amazing.
And that's why I don't fly drone.
Yeah, right.
It will end up on someone's roof.
It'll end up on someone's roof. Yes. Yeah. You just crash them once and then you're like, okay, be a little more careful. Yeah. But I wanted to go after a lot of the quality approach to it.
Yeah.
Because I think quality is sustainable. And I know the video market, it's going to get more saturated with agents.
Yeah.
So I think it's, okay, how do I start? How do I get to that next level? But I tell my wife, hey, every year I plan on continuing to upgrade equipment and everything like that. I mean, we're probably $10,000 invested in the gear I use to go make videos now.
Yeah.
And next year we'll probably buy some more lenses but I don't pay money in ads. I don't take out ads. So I basically have created a brand and people come to that brand. I'm not going to them anymore. They're coming to me. And that's why I looked at it as a sustainable model. And so going into, especially with the new construction, January 1st of this year, I already had 24 pending contracts of stuff that I had written last year.
Yeah.
And so right now I probably have 12 or 14 that will close next year. And I got one that's going to close in 2024. So granted, that's the nature of new construction anyway.
Right. But you think about it, we're always 30 days into a paycheck. So now if I can go into 2023 knowing that, I have 13 or 25 closings set, I mean, obviously I don't want to stop, but
a lot of freedom, you get a lot of freedom from that.
You do, because think about, like, for yourself, you guys are getting ready to have your next child and you want to take a month off. You don't, like, if I took a month off now in the resale side, I don't have a paycheck in 60 days because I just took the last 30 days off. Right. And so I've got to keep producing and being forward on stuff. But when you have the YouTube and your evergreen channel where people are just going to keep coming to it, now you have closings in the next year and stuff. I mean, I have a great December coming up because we have 5 new construction happening. Right. But that's December. I need money today, so I always look at. But if I was consistent with the new construction like you're talking about, cool, I got a $200,000 year next year, and I haven't even touched next year, with it. So that's why
that's the beauty of new construction. And like real estate, it's like anything. It's like farming. You got to fill up the silos because you're going to have months where you might not have a commission.
Right.
And that's just part of, you and your family and the budgeting side and the business of, like, what are we spending in websites or if we're doing ads or, video editors, all those things like that. So
let me ask you this. If as an agent, like, or not as an agent, now, are you filming all this? Like, are you going out once a week? Let's just say it's Tuesdays. Are you going out Tuesdays and filming new construction, and that's all you do for that week? Or are you going out to on Tuesday, going to 3 different communities and filming 3 different videos? So you got the next 3 weeks worth of content done.
Yeah, great question. So that's where my schedule is probably way different than any coach would tell people to do. It's very random. It's pretty unorganized in terms of it. So I work from home. This is a home office that I'm in right now. I've got a 4-year-old, a 2-year-old, and then one on the way. And so the 4-year-old, 2-year-old, sometimes they're right over there screaming. I'm glad they're not doing that right now.
Right.
But I don't have it like time blocked out where, hey, on Mondays I'm going to do this. And also, you hit February, usually February, I have somebody different flying into town from somewhere every day for, a span of a few weeks within February. So then you can't say, oh, well, Mondays I'm going to do this. Well, no, I got $1 million buyer coming in. What are you going to go do? You're going to go do what the video provided you, which is that person.
Yeah. You're going to have
and so I will try to block or chunk record, if I can. Like, let's say I've got some office videos, like ideas, interest rates are going up. Great. Let's talk about that. And my best hour of writing is probably like 5:30 a.m., 6 a.m. There's nobody's awake. I can have a cup of coffee and I just get great ideas. And so then I write out my scripts for those or my ideas. Or if I'm out somewhere, I'll just jot down a video idea and then I just start writing those ideas down. Now those are office videos. If I'm going out in the community, it's going to be like, let's say we're doing a new neighborhood called, there's a neighborhood around here called Talon Preserve. So they've got, four model homes. Great. I'll do 5 videos. It'll be an overview of the community as a whole. It'll be, and then a individual model home tour of each of those homes. So that right there is 5 videos. Okay. What I would do if I approach that is I would go get all of the B-roll of those model homes in one day, because it's about an hour per home for me to do that. Then the next day, whenever I could find a friend or somebody to play cameraman for the day, sometimes during COVID, it was my wife with pushing my daughter and the son on the back, and she's holding the gimbal. Hilarious. But yeah, that's most of those videos on YouTube. My wife's right there just getting by. And then I would go shoot all of those in one day. So I would kind of know what I'm going to say as I go through each house. And so then basically it was 2 days. That's 5 videos. That's just over a month of content. Right. Once I set into the video editor. Now, if I was editing myself, great. I got it down to a science where I could pretty much edit one of those types of videos in about an hour and a half. But now it's just not worth my time when I can, I might not have an hour and a half of uninterrupted time because of just the life I have right now. Right. Well, I think it's great, doing the video editor and setting it off. Now, it's also, you got to trust the video editor to edit the way you like it. Oh yeah, because you had your pattern, and that's the problem. Is it took Ashley a while to figure out how I wanted it. Now, if you go to a VA, then it's like, do they follow your pattern? You don't want to go through a bunch of them because it's a lot of time and it's a lot of money and it's energy, doing that. Right. So, and I liked your comment earlier too about, if you're going to go create video as a new agent, create what you're passionate about. You love new construction. You live in new construction. That's where you're at. Yeah. So why not sell what I love? Yeah. If I love resales or I love golf course communities, go film a bunch of golf courses. Go film lakefront. Go film, resale, high end or fixer uppers, whatever. That'll create. Obviously, that's going to create the clientele that's coming to you. Yep. Absolutely. So your videos that you've created 20 months ago, are you still getting clients on those, or are those just kind of outdated? Yeah, I am. Some are outdated, but I think what it does is it kind of validates. So in those new construction communities where I did a model home tour, it's still relevant today. They're still selling it. Yeah. In 4 years, they're not selling it anymore. No one's ever going to watch that video again. Right. But I think what keeps me in front of the things is the consistency. YouTube, the algorithm loves consistency. Yep. And so you're going to say, I'm going to do 3 weeks on and then take 6 weeks off. Not going to work. And in 6 weeks, you're starting at square one again. So you're starting that 6-month time clock all over again. So that's where if somebody, a new agent is jumping into video, I would tell them, get 8 videos done and recorded. Yeah. So that way you got 2 months of content, and now you start, publishing those. And now while those are, being released every once a week on the same time, same day, then you're creating more of them. But you got 8 weeks of that. And when I talked to other YouTubers, I was talking to a friend up in Tampa yesterday. He came down and his channel is way larger than my channel. But, we all struggle with the same stuff. And he's like, man, I'm like week to week right now. And I'm like, dude, I'm actually pretty good till October video stuff. He goes, dude, I envy you. Yeah. I'm like, well, because we're having a baby. I just needed to know now you want to get it done. Finished. Yeah. I still have to go get some B-roll, but the scripts are done, the graphics are done, all those things are done, and the ideas. I think problems that YouTubers have a hard time is coming up with relevant ideas consistently. That's not just how many times can you just sit there and talk about mortgages? Right. Well, that's an everyday conversation because they're all over the place. Right. So when you are, you're getting started in this, how did you decide the name for your channel? I brand everything after my name. Okay. I think And I've always done that because I think if you ever change brokerages, everything's branded to you.
Yeah.
You pretty much own everything, and it doesn't matter where you go, what you do. And so I've always believed in branding yourself and branding your name.
And that's smart because, like, you know, when we were at Remax forever, then we left Remax, came to EXP, and you know, I'm like, if it didn't work, I could just drop the EXP, put Remax back up there, or if I go on my own, we just put you know, as broker, you know, whatever. And you know, it's not that we're gonna like every year go find something else, but I like the branding, you know, name wise or however you want to do it. Now, what is the name of your YouTube channel that people are going to go to find you as a client, not a realtor, but as a client?
Yeah, it's just Matt Leicht Realtor.
And that's it. It's not living in Sarasota, anything along that line.
No, there's people that do that, you know, living in Texas, living in Orlando, you know, things like that. And the reason they do that, like, here's the insight. The reason they do that is because it's searchable.
Okay.
Like YouTube loves and when you look at like TubeBuddy is a great resource to use if you're doing YouTube, and it helps you come up with names and tags. Living in blank is a great video title. Phenomenal. Okay. And so if that is in your channel name, that YouTube likes that. Yeah. But I've always been after the brand side of it. Okay. Where living in Sarasota is not, they're not listing your house.
Right.
Matt's listing your house. Right. And so if I can use my name in the brand, or as I look to expand and grow a team, that is what the brand is.
Yeah. So what now to get searchable, now that you've got, you know, Matt Leicht, and you're not doing it the easy way because it's not living in Sarasota. People aren't going to search Matt Leicht Realtor. They're going to search living in Sarasota. How are you finding the keywords, and you know, how big is your the info section, I guess I'm trying to think, under the video to get searchable. So like
I think that is a huge opportunity for marketers. I was messaging Jimmy Mackin the other day about that, because there's not a ton of people that are experts in it. And because it's newer. Like, people know the Facebook game, they kind of know the Instagram game, they kind of understand the blogging game, things like that. But YouTube's a little bit different with what is YouTube like and doesn't like. So for me, I will use keywords everywhere, which you can, you know, purchase a certain amount of credits, and then it's a Google Chrome extension. And then I will use TubeBuddy, which I pay for pretty inexpensive per year. And that basically I will, hey, here's my idea, and it will say this is good for your channel or this is not good for your channel. And then here's good tags to use with that. And then it'll give you an SEO score at the bottom of your video. It also tells you an SEA score for your competitors' videos. So if you go and I pull up your videos, I can see what your SEO score is through TubeBuddy. Right. And it will say, oh, it's, you know, basically I want to be an 80 or above. 80 to 100 is where I want to be. And it also helps me come up with, you know, the titles, because I might have a great idea, but I'm not going to rank anywhere because I'm too small. If I sit here and did a video on moving to Florida, nobody's ever going to see that video. Right. Why? I don't have 100,000 subscribers. Right. So it could be the best thought out, the best quality, the best everything video in the entire world. And the people who do come across it, they're going to love it, but nobody's actually going to find it. It's too broad. So you have to find things that are more specific. And that's where I'll use keywords everywhere, or Uber Suggest. And that's a Google Chrome extension as well. And that will give you, you know, how often is something searched? And on a scale of 1 to 100, how often, you know, how competitive is it? So I'm looking for things that are searching anywhere from 100 to 1,000. I'm not looking for things 10,000. I'm not going to rank for that yet. Too small. Right. So if 100 people are searching in a month, I'll take that. If 500 are searching, I'll take that. And if the competition is below a 10, then I know I'm going to be the number one thing when people search for it. And so what's going to happen is they can go on Google, because again, Google owns YouTube, and they can type that question in on Google. And what happens when you go to google.com is oftentimes you see videos pop up first. Yep. Well, I'll be the number one thing for that question that they have. Now, is 100,000 people searching it? No. But those 100 people that are searching it that month, it's super relevant. And those are really quality people that if they reach out, it's very relevant to what they're going after. Yeah. So, you know, there's people that have 10, 15, 20,000 subscribers, and I'm sitting here under 2,000, and I might be selling twice as much real estate. And it can just be because my funnel is good, or my system is good, or the relevancy of the content is valuable to them.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because like you've got to get searchable, and when you're especially going after your name and not living in Sarasota,
Right.
what are the keywords to put in there? And also, you don't. I mean, it takes time to get to 2,000 followers. It takes time to get your first 1,000. We celebrated our first 100, and so it's like
100 was the hardest to get, man. That took forever.
It's like your first transaction. Once you sell your first transaction, then you go to 2, then you go to 4, then you go to 6. Like, hey, I can sell 10. Well, maybe next year I'll sell 20. So it's definitely, it's a numbers game, pushing it out there, but getting the content in the video. Yes. I think it would be great if we could have people who can do that. Now we have a VA that will do all of our search stuff. She's going back in all of our old videos that we've done and rebranding all of them to get them searchable, because these are things we've just learned about and we want to start putting stuff out there, but we don't want to lose the content we made before. None of it's all agent driven. It's not client driven. I'm trying to get into the client-driven YouTube stuff, which, it's like going after new construction or whatever, or resales or other things to try and get the client attraction there. So you're doing a lot. I mean, you're only doing new construction. And how is it getting the builders to allow you to walk through the properties with a camera?
Yeah, great question. So I guess I would say primarily I've done new construction because that's what I knew how to start with.
Yeah.
But my video, and I tell people this when I ask them to subscribe, because they need to know what they're subscribing to.
Right.
If they're subscribing to a channel that's talking about high school football and then also this, they don't know what to expect. And that's where I've thought about if I wanted to start a channel helping video agents, I wouldn't use my current channel for that. Yeah. Because it's totally contradicts, like it's a different audience. It's not gonna, and YouTube's gonna hate that. Yeah. And so in terms of approaching a builder, there's this, a saying out there, ask for forgiveness later is a big deal.
Yes.
So when I started, I just didn't even ask. I just went and I started shooting.
Did you show up at the model home with with your wife and kids and camera and be like, hey, we're just going to, I'm at a realtor. I'm going to just,
Well, so I've sold in a lot of these communities. So most of the reps know me and I've worked with them for years. So it's not like, who are you? It's like, oh, hey, hey, Jeff.
Right.
I'm here to do this. And, a lot of times like the sales reps, they don't really care because at the end of the day, they get paid the same amount most of the time if a realtor is involved or not involved. And if you're going to be bringing them business, they could really care less. They just want to sell homes.
Right.
And so the only one I've ever had a problem with is Toll Brothers.
Okay.
They've been the only one that's been like, oh no, that needs to go through our marketing department, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, listen, Devasta, Pulte, Taylor Morrison, DR Horton, like they love me when I come in.
Yeah.
So I just kind of approach it and don't try to go through like the proper type channels. Like, hey, I want to come in with the filming crew and think, because now it's like you're making a bigger deal than what it is at the end of the day.
I don't need to sign a trip hazard form. We're just act like I'm walking a client through and we're going to be here for an hour. And, and
also you can lean on the side of like at that time, like the COVID, like, hey, nobody's flying down right now. People want to see these homes and I have clients that are interested. So I'm going to make some videos to send to them.
Yeah.
We're not going to tell you no to do that.
I think that's the best one because obviously like we'd always go preview new construction. Well, now I'm going to go through and do the video and send it off to them. And they're not going to stop you from doing that because like you said, it is you are doing it for a client who's interested and, pushing it out there. Do you, in your videos, say the community, say the model center and the builder? Because I've been told by some not to say that information. Just check out this 4-bedroom, 3-bath home, the new construction in Winter Garden, and that way they still call you. Because if they know it's a DR Horton in the Toll Brothers neighborhood, I'm trying to think of neighborhoods, Toll Brothers neighborhood, and it's the 4-bedroom model, they'll just go to DR Horton.
Yeah, and there's I bet you hundreds of people have just gone and bought from the builder directly. Okay. And I can't that's just the nature of the game. Right. But I do tell them. I tell them everything except for pricing because that changes all the time. Correct. So in the video, I explain to them how you can build the model differently. So in this model, they have a bedroom right here. This isn't a tandem garage. This is this because that's valuable to them.
Yep.
And now when they watch more of my model home videos, they know what they can expect from Matt. Matt's going to talk about those things. And I'm going to put the pitch in at the end of, hey, if you register with the builder without having a realtor, they're not going to let you utilize the services of a realtor to help you purchase in this community. If you want to, pricing, download my price sheet. I I update it every so often so you can see the most accurate pricing. And so I try my best to communicate. If you register with a builder, it's kind of like buyer beware, in a sense where you don't have another person to help you with it. But yeah, I mean, I've walked into model homes with a client, and I've had other people. I had one person, she came up, she wanted to take a picture with me because she saw all my videos. And I'm like, well, I would have loved to have registered you here.
Right. What, I'm here. So why?
Right. But like, that is the nature of it. And like one
Yeah.
story I had, I took a client through, and this other person there was like, hey, Matt, like, I've seen all of your videos. This is why we're here today.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, I'm sure it is. And then they call me about 3 months later, these people, and they're like, hey, we kind of bumped into each other at these models. We can't get in touch with the builder. Like the reps aren't calling us back, or the front desk person. Can you help us? And I'm like, well, who did you talk to? We talked to so-and-so. So I know most of the reps. I text so-and-so, hey, can I be there? No, that you can't be their realtor.
Yeah.
And word for word, I asked them, I said, well, they're telling me that they're calling you and you're not calling them back. I can relay a message for you.
Yeah.
What do you want me to say? And they say, well, I guess just tell them to keep calling and eventually they'll get through. And I was like, this is why they just don't understand. And they don't understand the building process. They don't understand, those roof trusses are laying on the ground. Well, guess what? We have mold in Florida. Yeah. So when they put those up before the pre-drywall walkthrough, are you ever going to know what to look for? No, You're never going to have a clue. So there are so many things where a realtor has more value, where it used to be when you sold, hey, realtors can help negotiate. Well, great. We go to them and we ask for a washer, a dryer, a fridge, like those types of things. We can't do that anymore because it's seller's market. But now the value that a realtor brings is in the process, because it is unlike any other process with these supply issues and 14-month build times, and maybe you have an attorney review for the same price of a title company. So when I talk to people on the phone and I relay these types of things, they're like, well, crap, like that's clearly my best option to purchase in this community. And at that time, 18 months ago, it was bidding wars. Yeah. And so how do you navigate that? And then I was able to help people line up without doing the bidding in certain scenarios. And so, it was, leveraging relationships, with the builder, with those sales reps and things like that.
No, I think that's great. And especially having, if you haven't sold in the communities, I think it's smart for the buyers, or not the buyers agents, to go out and at least preview and introduce themselves. Yeah. Because if you can start getting your name known that way, and then you start bringing clients in, that's going to be huge. Best way to kind of get out there. Well, Matt, we've been on, we've got a lot of information out of this, and we've gone, I want to say gone over, but we've gone lengthy on details. But this is huge because YouTube is where it's at. It's video is where it's at. And you talked to me 3 years ago, I was scared on BombBomb. I've had a membership. I think I'm on my third membership with BombBomb over the last 10 years. And since we really started with Curator. And then, I finally started using it 3 years ago, and it's like slowly getting better. And it's just, for people who are afraid of video, get out and do it, and just record on your phone, and then save the videos. And then, eventually you'll feel comfortable sending it. Now, don't watch it 6 times like I had 21 takes because I kept screwing up words, but don't watch the video and say, oh, I shouldn't have said, just hit send, because it looks more authentic. Yeah.
And that's what I've tried to help with agents. So like, I've had a lot of agents reach out to me, and anybody who's watching this, feel free to reach out to me, Matt Leicht, Leicht. My brand is pretty much the same on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, wherever. It's the same name. But I've had a lot of conversations with agents trying to jump into video, or want to talk about gear, or what do you recommend, or things like that. And I'm happy to help, because really what Brad had done for me and helped me. And there's so much real estate out there to sell. There is so much out there to sell. And people, you could do the exact same video, same script, Todd, that I do. There's going to be people that call you. There's going to be people that call me, because they just resonate with the person differently.
Right. And you're going to hit a different audience. I mean, it's there's in one of my coaching programs, there's a thing called the 19 things they didn't teach you in real estate school. And I was just talking to my coach about it. He goes, if you want to hit a different audience about like how to make $1 million, the 19 things we can teach you how to make $1 million in real estate, the 19 things they taught, can teach you how to get from 10 to 20 transactions. He goes, literally, the concept is all the same. Just change the title, and it's going to be the same. So it's like, you can, because we're going to hit a different audience each time we do it. and you can almost take your 5 videos and make them 20, just changing information.
Right.
Because it's going to hit a different audience. Because like, look at Facebook, for example. You know, I don't see you that often. All of a sudden, I see you for 3 weeks, and then I don't see you that often. All of a sudden, you're back on my page for 3 weeks. Like, did I not interact with him for those other 3 weeks, or what's going on? Yeah. But it's just the way the stuff shows up. So it's a back and forth. Well, Matt, just any last word about to agents out there diving in?
Yeah, no, I would just what you said. You've got to start. But it's not just starting; it's being consistent and seeing an idea through. Yep. I just won an award, with Sarasota and Manatee County of Realtor to Watch under 40. Oh, wow. And one of the pieces of advice that I said to other realtors or young realtors is, you have to see an idea through. Like when I was doing Facebook ads, you got to do it for a couple months. If you're going to do mailers, you got to do it for a couple months. If you're going to do video, you got to see it through, because it's not a one-time get rich quick technique. Just like anything in real estate, like everybody gets their license, like, oh, great, I'm going to have vacation every day and I'm going to make a ton of money and life is going to be great. I'm not going to wake up at 5 a.m. or I think you're the 4 a.m. guy.
No, 5 a.m. The 4 a.m. was because I was going to the airport.
Oh, okay. I was like, gosh, Todd's up at 4.
No, I did that because one of the guys always posts, "What's up 5 a.m. club?" And then that day he put up it was like, "What's up 6 a.m. club?" I'm like, dude, I'm up an hour earlier than you, and you're killing me here.
Yeah.
But yeah, you got to get ahead of it and get consistent and get started.
Consistency is everything. Yep. And surround yourself with people that are better than you.
Yeah. And it's just, and it is, follow everybody that is doing it. And just, if you need titles, steal the titles, just watch them and just copy some of the information, because it's not going to come out the same. And, because if you need the ideas, and TubeBuddy, and there's a lot of other cool tools that are out there. But, Matt, I appreciate you jumping on. Anybody, if you need a Sarasota referral agent, Matt is your man. He's done a couple referrals for us. They've all loved him, working with him. And if you guys don't mind, like and subscribe. Follow us on YouTube, podcast, Instagram, Facebook, all the other good places on Agents Who Win. And we're here to help every agent win in this business, because like you said, there's too much of a failure rate out there. We want to help find a way to get them rolling. So cool, guys. You have an awesome one.